Hey guys, we're going to talk about a Ducati valve adjustment. What I have here is a Ducati 996. It's a Desmo Quattro motor, so it's the same motor as a 916 essentially. 916, 748, 996 all has the same top end. Valve train is the same. Even the same cams in the 748 as a 996. So we're going to talk about adjusting the valves on these bikes. The reason I'm doing this, I just recently purchased this bike. Had just over 6,000 miles on it. It's a 2000, so the previous owner rode it for 13 years, only put 6,000 miles on it. I don't even know how that's even physically possible to own a Ducati and only put that many miles on it, but whatever, to each their own. My Moto Guzzi right back there, you see that? 56,000 miles on it. You know, I mean, that's whatever, to each their own. But I'm a rider. I also like to work on bikes. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here making this video. When I bought this bike, I started looking around, checked YouTube, looking for some information, looking for some help. I heard that, you know, a little bit complicated, get into these, you know, these Desmo heads and adjusting valves, and so I start doing my research and look for some articles. I look for some YouTube videos. There's some good information out there. There's a couple of great videos. One really funny video I'll share with you here in a minute. We're going to do some editing as we go. So I'm not going to compile all this information and clip it and cut it and make one great video. This is a video about information. So we're going to talk about some different stuff. But the reason I'm making the video is, you know, there's some good information out there, but if you've never done a valve adjustment before, it could be, you're kind of trying to pick and choose from these different sources, and it would be a little bit complicated, I would think, for somebody that's never done a lot of, you know, valve adjustments before. I've adjusted a bunch of valves. All my dirt bikes over the years when I was racing dirt bikes, my Moto Guzzi all the time. You got to do it every 6,000 miles on that bike as well. But it's the threaded adjuster. You know, it's easy. It takes me 15 minutes. You adjust the valves and you're back on the road. This thing obviously a little bit more involved. They've also had, you know, with the 996, the flaky, you know, the chrome flaking off on the rockers. Sure enough, I got that problem on this bike. So you got that you've got to contend with. Really, to do it right, you got to pull the cams out, which is, as far as I'm concerned, that's a no-brainer. If you're doing this job, you need to take the cams out, especially if you've got one of the bikes that's susceptible to that, to the flaky chrome off the rockers, like a 996, for example. Don't just go in there thinking, oh, I'm going to adjust the valves. Hopefully they're in spec and I can, you know, just, you know, check my valves. Okay, cool, I'm good, and then go back out on the road for another 6,000 miles. If you've got a 996, you need to pull the cams out, and it's easy to do it. Once you've taken the belts off, there's no reason not to pull the cams out. All the voodoo is within taking the belts off. I mean, obviously, you can imagine what would happen if you skip a tooth, putting your belts back in. If you screw that up, you know, put something in wrong there. If you're careful with your belts, taking the cams out is easy. So I've got all four of my cams out right now. I got one in here right now, just for reference, to show you how I adjust these valves. So it's easy. So anyways, don't be afraid about, don't be worried about taking the cams out. It's easy. So, all right, these motors are fantastic motors, easy to work on. It's a race bike. So what does that mean? It means it's meant to be worked on over and over and over. It's meant to go to the track. Guys pull stuff off, put stuff back on, pull stuff off, put it back on hundreds and thousands of times at the racetrack. That's what they're designed to do. So maintenance is easy. It's made to be, well, I shouldn't say it's easy. I mean, you know, look, they've got some stuff going on here, but everything is accessible, I should say. You know, big heavy castings, you can take bolts in and out, in and out, in and out, you know, hundreds of times. You're not going to have a problem. A lot of cheaper stuff, like I've got a Harley, you know, you take the primary drive off, you just barely over tighten one of the bolts and you strip it out. So you're pulling the whole thing apart. You got to put Healy coils in. Total pain in the ass. It's not meant to be taken apart. You take it apart when that turd breaks. This thing is meant to be taken apart over and over and over again. Okay, so get in there and take this thing apart and work on it. You don't need a torque wrench. Throw the torque wrench away. You know, you go to tighten something up, You get this 5mm bolt right here. Put it in there. Turn it till it flexes. You've just torqued it. Okay, you're good to go. It's a nice heavy cast aluminum. You're not going to strip anything out. You don't need to wail on it. It's aluminum, you know. Be the bolt, you know. Feel the bolt. Tighten it up. You're good to go. Okay. A couple of videos I wanted to share real quick. Talk about. Make sure I still got this thing still running. Yep. Okay. So yeah, I had to did this a couple of times. I made one nice video, had a nice run, and my stupid card was full, so I had to go back, start over again. So this this video right here, this guy does a great job. Let me just show you this real quick. Okay, you need to find this video. This guy right here does a great job working on his Ducati 916, and he shows you how to do a belt change. Okay, watch this, pay attention to it, learn it, memorize it, because what you're going to need to do is you need to pull the belts off to take the cams and everything out, right? To adjust the valves. So watch that. Good video. There's another video here that I'll show you in a second that's really funny, but let me talk about a couple of things before we get to that. Here's something else you need to familiarize yourself with and download for free. Get onto the EMS DUC, EMS Ducati, you know, emsduc.com. Mike runs that deal, and what this is here, this is a free form that you can download, and what you're using it for is to keep your valve information organized. Okay, you've got your vertical cylinder, you got your horizontal cylinder, you've got a left side, you got a right side, you got an opener shim, you got a closer shim. So you add all that up together, you've got a lot going on. You've got 8 opener rockers, 8 closer rockers. So you've got that many opening shims, closing shims. It's a lot to keep track of. So you take this, you fill this form out as you're working on it. You're like, okay, you take a measurement, you write down, okay, that's my loaded or unloaded clearance. Then you get your loaded clearance and you write all that stuff down. You can go back through, you can highlight it, okay, I need to make an adjustment there, this and that, blah, blah, blah. So the reason this is kind of what I've done here is I went through, these are the rockers that I had to change out, okay? I had 4 rockers that had the chrome completely gone on my opener rockers that I had to replace, okay? Originally I had 3 valves were the only ones that needed to be adjusted. They were the closers, and they weren't very far out. They were pretty darn close. So, and the funny thing is they were within Ducati specs. So I could have continued riding this thing easy. I could have went in there with feeler gauge, checked it. In fact, I did that the first time I checked them. And I was like, sweet, they're all within within Ducati specs. Then I started reading about the chrome flaking off the rockers, that problem. I'm like, geez, I got to go back out there and take that stuff back apart again. So pulled it back apart, took the cams out of it. Sure enough, found a bunch of flaky rockers. Whatever. And it cost me $240. Again, I went through Mike at EMS. I ordered up some rockers. That dude, he is the man. He does an exchange program. So I called him up, said, hey, I wanted to work on my bike. I'm in the middle of it. I'd like to put it back together, you know, on good faith. You know, send me some good rockers. I'll send you my old rockers. He's like, no problem. I bought a shim kit from him. That was a little expensive, you know, but it's awesome. I'll show you that in a second. You get a shim kit, and then you don't have to go back and forth to the store or take a measurement, get all this stuff laid out, mail order it. You know, if you're into it and you ride a lot, I suggest a shim kit. Spend the $300, and then this is, you know, like for me, once I start riding, I'll pull it into the shop. I'll take the whole thing apart over a weekend. You know, come out here, drink a beer Saturday, get all my measurements, check it. Sunday, put it back together, and I want to be riding again. I don't want to wait, you know, to get shims. In town, we've got a couple of places, you know, here in Denver, Airco. They stock some shims, but not all of them. I mean, I don't get it, but, you know, it's just, I don't want to rely on that whole thing. I need to be self-sufficient. I bought a shim kit. I like to ride. I want to be able to tune my bike up and get back out on it. So, okay, where are we at? So, adjusting the valves, right? Okay, there's just a couple of things I want to show everybody. One, you need to pull the cams out, check all your rockers, and then I'm going to show you how I adjust these valves. And here's a video. This is funny. Let me share this with you real quick. This video right here, let me see how much time we got on here. So this guy, this is a great video. Okay. Okay.
So I've got a 15 mil, 0.15 mil, which in between the cam and the rocker, yes, slides in.
Okay, he's going between the cam and the rocker.
Slides in. Put a 20 mil, and I can't push that in. Okay. That's one valve. Yeah. The next one, in between the cam and the... Yeah.
This is the only guy I've seen. The only guy I've seen go between the rocker and the cam.
Yeah. It was 15. 15, lovely. 20.
And then what he's going to check here in a second is the closer, which I think is pretty cool. Here it comes. Okay, wait for it.
Just push down on.
Push down. I don't know if you can see that, guys.
Right there. You hear that?
You can hear it.
I bet you that's only 2/1000ths.
Not very technical, but...
Okay, he's got probably 2/1000ths of play on that closing rocker. You can just tell it's not moving very far. It's just ding, 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 ding. He's probably got a couple thousandths in there, really, and that's all you need. But that was a great video, and it led me to come up with I think a better way to check on this loaded unloaded method. I got a better way of checking to get your loaded measurement by watching that. That guy kind of got me thinking. But anyways, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this camera around, point it into the top of the top of this where this valve is, this rocker assembly here, and so you can see where I'm taking my measurements, and you see how to do it. All right. So here, let me move this thing. All right, cool. So we go